Welcome to another episode of the Inspiring Minds conversation. At Inspiring Minds, we believe that the world is shaped by thinkers, dreamers, and doers. Those who challenge the ordinary, push boundaries, and create lasting impact. We are here to celebrate the educators transforming lives, the business leaders redefining success, the healers bringing hope, the change makers lifting communities, and the visionaries inspiring the next generation. We are more than just a platform. We are a movement built on the foundation that every great ideas, every selfless effort, and every bold step forward deserves to be recognized. We bring you this conversation because we know that when we honor those who make a difference, we light the spot. Joining us today is an extraordinary leader who brings a rare blend of technical precision, global governance, and strategic people leadership to the corporate landscape. With over 15 years of impactful experience across the renewable energy, BFSI, IT, and manufacturing sectors, she currently heads the human resource administration and IT at Sprng Energy within the Shell Renewable Energy portfolio. She works directly along with the CEOs and the top executive leaders to drive HR transformation, organizational design, and strategic workforce planning that strengthen the enterprise resilience. Her expertise reaches far beyond the traditional HR. She serves as the board of director for five entities, bringing crucial enterprise-wide perspective on governance, ethics, risk management, and ESG integration. From leading a pre and post acquisition merger and acquisition integration to overseeing compliances, administrative operations, and digital HR, she is deeply committed to building agile, future ready, and inclusive organization. With, with an MBA in HR, a BTech in electrical engineering, an international perspective from the Sheffield Business School, and a GPHR credential, she truly exemplifies the power of multidimensional leadership. Our guest for this conversation is Sayantani Basu. Sayantani, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Inspiring Minds, and especially Dr. Vishal for inviting me to be part of this wonderful platform. Your work is truly touching lives and creating meaningful impact. And I really feel privileged to be part of this journey. Thank you once again.
So, Sayantani, you started your journey with a BTech electrical engineering before moving into HR and corporate governance. Normally, people views engineering as all about system, logic, and hard data, while HR is viewed as all about human relationship and empathy. How does having an engineering's analytical mindset changes the way you approach complex people problem, organizational design, and HR operations?
Thank you for the powerful question. To start with, I would say that I'm privileged to be an electrical engineer because the engineering mindset continues to shape how I approach HR, be it a solution centric mindset or a structured approach, logic or precision with which I drive complex people challenges. That has all evolved because of my background in electrical. And more so over, my MBA in HR has taught me more than human relationships. It has taught me empathy. It has taught me connect. So together, I bring about this balanced blend of both empathy and strategic decision making and foresight. That is where I am able to put the analytical mindset into the people problems and solve it. Thank you.
Sayantani, I just wondering, when you did your electrical engineering or you took the admission for the electrical engineering, at that time, usually because I also work with an electrical engineering organization, so usually that is all transformer, wire, connection, circuit breaker, etc. Okay, does those concepts from transformers and circuit breaker actually gets utilized into the HR functions?
Well, to talk about it, certainly so, because when we talk about circuit design, when we talk about how every node works, uh, every role is like every node and it is all interconnected. If you look at a single line diagram or when we talk about circuit diagrams, there every policy here is like a connector when we talk about the circuit design. So In a way, both of these blend in a very seamless fashion, and that is where I can do a lot of correlations to what I have learned in electrical as well as in HR, because both of these requires you to have the analytical mindset of, be it designing your electrical circuits, or be it proceeding with HR data analytics.
So Sayantani, driving the one question from what we had, you said about using the circuit design and everything to how building the the I what I understood from you that it's both blending together. So HR also starts with putting up all the circuits places and everything in place. Okay. Similarly, is the circuit designing. Checking your profile. Okay, that you actually oversee human resources, administration, and IT simultaneously at Spring Energy. Okay, so in most of the organization which I know is that the HR and admin, although many of the organization have the same function, but IT as a department is usually not there with that. Okay, because it is usually the fight of the budget when we talk about HR, admin, IT. So how does bringing HR, IT, and the physical infrastructure under one strategic umbrella changes the employee experience, and how do you leverage IT as one of the ally to the HR?
Well, again, a very important piece that you've picked up, Dr. Vishal. And herein I would like to mention that it's important for organizations to have the synergy, because to get an integrated employee experience, it is important that we blend HR, IT, and admin together and ensure that the employees within the organization are having a seamless experience in lines of their performance cycle. Because when we are digitizing HR platforms, say performance appraisals, or for that matter of fact, onboarding, herein IT piece comes into place. And that is where, from the very beginning, from onboarding to exit, IT plays a very crucial role. So IT is seen more of an ally, and working in tandem with IT and admin has actually made the HR function very effective. So, as a department, we have been enabling data driven insights, and again, we have transformed our a lot of our processes into digital platforms, be it our learning and development, performance appraisal, recruitment, and onboarding. So, in a way, it's important that we eliminate silos and create a seamless employee journey.
So Sayantani, usually we see that in HR functions, we slowly we rise up to HR head level or the CHRO level or the director HR, depending upon which organization we are working in. Okay, and similarly in case of IT, it becomes the chief intelligence officer or chief technical officer, something like that. Okay, but one department that you also take care of, that is the admin, or we can say as the facility management. Okay, these operations are the unsung heroes of the corporate life. Okay, so you cannot expect that your punching cards or access card is not working. Okay, or your stationaries are not in place, but still they are the unsung heroes of our organization. So people usually only notice, for I gave an example that the access card is not working. Okay, so in that case, where you have the admin people, people know, okay, we can go to the admin people and they will sort it out. Okay, so usually what happens is that the people usually notice when there is something called breakdown. So how does physical workplace environment, administrative efficiency, and office safety directly influence the employee morale and productivity in the fast-paced energy company?
So again, very important for organizations to think about. The main purpose of admin is to ensure that the workplaces are ergonomically safe. And when I talk about ergonomic safety, it is prominently about having the right places in lines of their sitting, in lines of the distance they are sitting from their laptops. So these aspects are very important in today's life because that is where a lot of physical and psychological safety comes into place. So the moment your punch card, as you rightly pointed out, your ID doesn't work, a lot of people undergo a lot of such tension wherein they are not in a really great position to share what they are feeling. So it is important that we maintain a psychologically safe environment where employees can create a psychological contract with the organization. And that is where trust builds in. Because if people panic, hardly people would be able to build trust out of it. And if they are panicking every day at workplace, you can imagine how it would be. It
So
would be a
taking
chaos more than
Sayantani, taking
calm.
the word called panic and connecting it with the access card. Okay, it we hear a lot of things on LinkedIn and everywhere that the access card is not working, and suddenly you reach out to the admin and the HR people and say that you have been shown the pink slip and you are no longer the organization. So definitely that panic situation, whether I am there in the organization or not there in the organization, although it may be the problem with the access card or machine itself is there, but still panic is there. And you rightly pointed out that once access card is not working, they get panicked, and that's creating an importance of the psychological workforce that you have said.
Thank you.
So, Shantani, coming to the energy space that you work in, okay. So, I feel that there are lots of things in energy space, especially when we are talking about the renewable energy portfolio. We have got the wind, we have got the solar, we have got non-conventional sources of energy, what we usually say. Non-conventional in the sense that we are not using the coal as one of the things. Okay, so from the work, because as since you are heading the, you are taking care of the entire HR department for and admin IT there in the Sprng Energy. Okay, for a workforce perspective, clean energy requires managing a dual reality. You have the software developer and a corporate strategic in the headquarters. Alongside with the project team, the field engineers working on solar wind farms in remote locations. So how you design an inclusive company culture and safety framework that feels equally supportive to someone sitting at the desk and someone working out in the field.
Very apt question for today's world. And thank you for asking that, Dr. Vishal, because what has come forth is the flexibility that organizations have brought in. And that what makes inclusive environments more and more prominent in today's world. So, where we have designed our policies are around a flexible working environment. Safety protocols, again, both at site and at HO, and wherever we have people sitting out of main offices, have to be adhered to in lines of the health, safety, security, and physical presence. Alongside, our recognition programs are also designed in a way that it recognizes both our sites as well as our people who are sitting out of the head offices. In a nutshell, I would like to share that we have created a shared identity. When we talk about a shared identity, it is more of creating an environment where every employee feels safe, valued, be it employee who is at office or be it someone who's climbing the wind turbine. So we also bring in people together in yearly offsites. We have buddy programs, which are prominently programs where when we have a new joinee, they get accustomed to the organization and there would be a buddy who would be carrying them through the organizational norms. For the first 3 months, Buddy again are cross functional employees, so they don't necessarily belong to their immediate departmental peer group or colleague group, but they are from a different department. So, in a way, the inclusivity is built. In such a format that it's a conscious call that people get to connect with each other.
So, since Anthony, you work in this sector, Okay, so it requires talent from traditional industries like gas and everything, or it's something related to heavy manufacturing. So, what is the strategy for transitioning the talent from traditional sector to renewable sector and help them align with the fast-paced, sustainable, focused culture of clean energy?
Well, that's a very prominent question that has been picked up in the recent times in lines of developmental skills that are required and upskilling programs. So we do also have upskilling programs. And when I talk about talent, it's not necessarily someone who brings in the technical expertise, but it's also about the mindset that people carry, the intent to do the work, the intent to learn more. And with those regards, we have programs wherein we have learning and development programs developed in such a way that people can reskill themselves. We also have higher education policy, which enables people to ensure that they go for higher education or lateral education wherein they can upskill themselves. So, in a way, we have created a learning environment. We have created an environment where people can thrive, and people need not be particularly from oil and gas or manufacturing. If they have the mindset to learn and if they have the intent to work and put in their passion to work every day, we look forward to having such employees at workplace, because mostly what I have seen is with organizations which are thriving, they have mentorship in place, they have cross-functional skilling in place, and that has helped a lot, be it from the onboarding perspective or be it from their learning and development perspective.
Santini, I think what I am figuring out because I also work in HR department is that you have developed from an electrical engineer to HR. Okay, and successfully heading the HR department for an organization. Similarly, you see that thing in most of the people that yes, they if they wish they can do it. Okay, but
Certainly.
you might be coming also with some of the people who are not ready to accommodate people, because some of the people in your organization maybe also older generation people who are not ready to accommodate with the cross functional hiring. So how do you tackle these kind of situations?
Again, there are generational gaps, and I agree with you that there could be instances as such you have mentioned. But what we also need to have in place is a succession plan. So when I talk about succession plan, it is important that leaders mentor or guide their one downs, and whoever they feel are competent enough to take up the leadership pipeline in place. So we have such structures where leaders enable mentorship, and they immediately can pick someone who is capable enough through their competency mapping, and then we can align the successor and ensure that the successor is also ready within a time frame of 6 months to 2 years. This is the capability development program. So that is how the mindset shift has happened in our organization, and that is how we measure it in a way that the leadership pipeline also is aligned to the organizational values as well as the organizational scorecard that we have in place. And at the same time, the board members are also in alignment with where we don't see a talent risk, because there would not be a gap as we have a successor in place.
So, Sayantani, you also take care of the ESG, that is environmental, social, and social governance. So, these standards are now central to business strategy worldwide. As an HR leader and the board of director, how do you ensure that the social and the governance part of the ESG are not just marketing statement but measurable audit ready operational practices across the enterprise.
Well, a very deep question. We have ESG in place, and we have HSIC team who also aligns with it. So we have a particular department who actually takes care of a larger portion of the ESG. What has been the crux of our focus is while we have ESG, we have our plans running wherein we have to take care of the environmental, social, and governance part of it. And the leadership, thankfully, had been very much involved in the strategic movement of such ESG platforms. When I talk about it, I would say that it's important to have a leadership buy-in. When we talk about social and governance part of it, the S and G should work in tandem. It should not work in a in a very different way. While the social practices like diversity matrices, grievance redressal, community engagements are tracked and audited. So in a nutshell, we have the practices where we can measure what we do. So, so as was the famous saying that whatever gets measured has its own relevance. Hence, we also find ourselves measuring things, and we have found out a way where we can actually have the matrices and the analytics in place, so that all of it can contribute to the larger organizational success.
So coming to your one of the aspect that I while I was reviewing your profile, I saw that you have worked with the merger and acquisition part also. So you have got experience in managing HR through merger and acquisition. So that includes your pre-deal due diligence and the post-acquisition integration. So financial auditors evaluate balance sheet, but from a people and the culture perspective, what is the subtle red flag in an organizational structure or the cultural health can ruin the merger acquisition deal post acquisition if they are missed during the due diligence?
Well, at this juncture, it's a very tricky question, I must say. And what I would say is particularly my perspective, and it has nothing to do with the organization's view or call, but where I have seen a lot of merger and acquisition come together or break apart is with the cultural alignment that you've rightly mentioned. And that depicts a large portion of how successful a merger and acquisition is, how successful the merger happens, how successfully the organization runs the due diligence. Because if there is a cultural alignment, automatically there would be communication that would be in place. And when we have communication, we have decision making, there would be lesser resistance to change. And then again, the leadership team would be more prominently taking up initiatives, be more proactive in ensuring that the merger becomes a success. So I feel building trust is very important. Trust management plays a very important role here. Change is not easy. There are organizational development pieces, initiatives, and interventions that bring about a lot of impact in how a merger and acquisition happens and how it is carried out, how we deal with it after the merger acquisition. So, a whole lot of processes are in place, but the subtle thing that makes a lot of difference is the cultural impact. I think if there is a cultural alignment, a lot of it gets going and a lot of work is done in a very seamless way. That's my
So,
take. Thank you.
so Sayantani, usually what happens is that when merger and acquisition actually, takes into comes into the existence. Okay, so one aspect that changes is your, the compensation benefit. Okay. Earlier, there was some issues related to what will be the basic salary, because every organization has got its own basic and other structures. Okay. Now, because of the new wage codes, all we have to follow is this 50%. We cannot go below 50%. So that has been standardized. But still, usually other people who are not into HR department only understand that we do only the salary structure part, but there are more work in comp and ben space than we do only the salary structure part. So one of those areas are basically your aligning the salary bands, incentive structure, and the policy frameworks related to that. Okay. So how you manage that the entire policy framework is at place when post merger, the merger and acquisition. Okay. Without damaging the moral or losing the top talent.
Very interesting question again. Again, Comptonman has rightly pointed out, is the foundation of any organization. Uh, and there are strategies around it which helps to retain the high performers and the critical talent. So aligning total rewards post acquisition requires balancing fairness with competitiveness. That is very important. What the organization usually looks at, and that is my perspective, is they look at a transparent pay philosophy. When I talk about a pay philosophy, that is articulating the entire job architecture and aligning the pay positioning according to where the roles are placed. And it is a position mapping that's been done. And once that is done, the salaries are to be harmonized. So the salary bands are to be brought together so that we can protect the high performers through retentions, incentives, and again ensure that all employees are paid in equitable way. So when I say equitable, it there has to be an equity that has to be in place, and employees do not feel that there has been any discrimination. So communication is the key to such processes. Hence, it's very important that we take care of total rewards at the very initial phase of any M&A.
So Sayantani, you also oversees the internal compliances, cost guidelines, labor laws, ethic governance, okay, and lots of other aspects. So how do you build a corporate environment where compliance is not viewed as restrictive policing, but as a foundation of a psychologically safety, trust, and ethical conduct?
Yes. So, to me, compliances are basically the pillars of any organization. So, when I talk about the pillar, it is not about just policing it, but it mainly entails the governance and how transparent the governance is, how strong it is to protect employees and to create a psychologically safe environment is where compliances, guidelines, and policies come into place. And to ensure that these are not being taken in a very light way, we have such aspects which are again our values. When we talk about values, we have respect, we have integrity, we have transparency. So these values, they create the outer shell of these pillars. And it is expected that employees are aligning to what the organizational values are, so that in the long run, the compliance framework becomes not just a standby, but a framework of empowerment.
So, Sayantani, reflecting on your 15 years of corporate career, you recently shared the thought that life moves as on fast. I feel grateful to all people I come across who made these years meaningful. In a high pressure corporate environment focused on target and KPIs, how do you practically maintain that deep sense of personal gratitude and empathy?
Well, empathy is very core to my being. For me, Gratitude is my anchor. So, in a way, I would like to share here is the more grateful you are, the better you feel every day. So, you start when we all start our day with gratitude, with simple, grateful thoughts. Where we are, how grateful we are for the food and shelter that we get. I believe these are very basic things that we talk about. But the act of being grateful brings about a lot of happiness to one's mind. And this is my personal thought. Even in high pressure environment, when I pause to acknowledge the people who are behind the numbers, who are behind the scorecard, who are behind the creation of this wonderful environment, it is be it through handwritten notes, be it through small recognitions, be it through celebrating mindset, it is the core of every organization that values respect, core of every organization that values trust and that values recognition. So small acts or small gestures can go a long way. And this is where I want people to make someone's day or make someone's career rather than break it. If you have a chance, please build but never break. Thank you.
I remember, Sayantani, as you said that every morning you feel gratitude to those people who have helped your life. So my day starts with thinking, what is the next HR word of the day I'm coming up with? Okay,
That's a
so
lovely initiative.
it
I
has been over 14 years I have been trying to find out, and every day I discover myself as an HR while searching a HR word of the day.
absolutely, it's a beautiful insight, and that's where I have personally thanked you because I really feel grateful that you have been putting that effort forth, and that is affecting a lot of us, impacting a lot of us in a very positive way. So thank you again for that.
So, Santani, looking back over these 15 years, what was one high risk career decision or bold step you took that paid off well? And what did the experience teach you about trusting your own capabilities?
Well, it would be the movement that I made from a bachelor's to my master's. It would be prominently moving from engineering to HR profile, and then it's very unconventional. But what it has taught me is trusting your capability. It's important that we trust ourselves. We trust our instincts, and that goes a long way. If it flourishes, it can that leap of faith can take you to very far distant leadership roles which you could not have imagined. So for me, I I've always felt that while both engineering and HR both are very powerful fields, but engineering has given me the analytical mindset and HR has given me the strategic foot foot forward. So, in a way, both of them have helped me in my career, and that's a personal take. Thank you.
So, Santani, many young professionals into this podcast, okay, especially the young women in the engineering and the STEM who aspires to reach executive position and the boardrooms. So, what mindset shift is essential early in their careers to help them bridge the gap between technical expertise and strategic leadership?
Well, I hope a lot of young students are hearing this out because this question is basically their stepping stone to their next life forward. What is important is, again, for women to be in engineering, it is very important for them to understand their value first. Because engineering plays a very crucial role in our country. When we talk about renewables, we talk about manufacturing, we talk about even software for that matter of fact, we need engineers. So it's important to have technical expertise because that will give you the space, a very important space in the organization. At the same time, what helps when you have a strategic thinking, that is something that you need to ponder on, because when you have strategic thoughts in place, you can be the person who can be on the table, who can be on the discussion table with regards to your business outcomes, with regards to your strategic business movements and strategic plan of your organization. So, for everyone out there, just don't bind yourself by certain thoughts. You keep your mind open. Be resilient. Be open to change. Have a learner mindset. Have grit, and that growth mindset will take you to a very, very higher uh, organizational position. And that is where I look forward to encouraging you to take up such mentors who can help you and guide you in the career forward.
Sanjay, I correctly remember during when I was working with one of the iron and steel giant. Okay, that's the one of the among the biggest organization here in West Bengal. Okay, so I used to hire sales engineer. Okay, so so people used to say iron and why I have not done my mechanical engineering or metallurgy engineering, not because to serve as an salesperson. So I used to say that for selling a engineering product or a product related to iron and steel and something like that, okay, you need to understand the basic technicalities of that, and that is the area that you have an expertise. A BCom student may or may not be a successful salesperson for engineering product line. Okay, so
True.
many a times I used to see that the students are not very, accepting that yes, that sales engineer kind of profile I can go with them. So, what's your take on this?
Well, very interesting, because that is what a lot of organizations do, and I have seen that doing. I think it's important to inspire the young minds. When I talk about the young minds, it's important, as you rightly said, and you have guided them very well, that because they know the nitty-gritties of engineering, because they know the nitty-gritties of the product that is being sold, so every aspect of your career depends on how you view it. They should start with viewing not just the sales part of it, but viewing the entire holistic picture, that today they are selling the product. They are not just selling the product per se, but they are also selling their capacity. When I talk about capacity, it is their influencing skills, it is their negotiation power, it is their communication. So in a way they are uh, progressing to at the next step of their life, because they are able to communicate, they are able to broadcast their own capability to the larger world. So the competency that they bring about is going to take them to heights. So I agree that we should actually encourage them, and we should tell them that you
And
bring in
also,
a lot more.
Sayantani, it happens that a person from mechanical engineering or metallurgy understand the difference between 500 T and 700 T TMT bar. Okay, a normal person cannot be those. So that expertise, if that expertise is properly used in for sales and marketing and for promotion, that would be the best step for them also, because they know the
Absolutely.
technicalities.
Absolutely. So even, it is applicable to everyone out there. Every electrical engineer, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, they would know the structure and they can sell it better, be it for a civil engineer. If when we talk about the electrical engineer, they know the circuits better. They know what is to be placed where, why a lightning arrestor is used, why we have inverters, and what kind of inverters are best suitable. So they have a better knowledge of the entire circuit, the entire electrical design part of it, and the products that can be sold with the better composition. So I totally agree that only these people would be the true guide for the organization, and this can take them to heights. Because when we talk about all the leaders who are there at the top level, they also start with sales, right? Every one of the organizational employees, they start with first selling themselves. Even when a new joinee joins, or when we are interviewing someone is selling their skills, right? When we talk about interviewing any candidate, be it someone who's a GET, be it someone who's an MT, or be it someone who's a veteran. At the end, everyone is there selling their skills. So everything starts with sales. You agree or not, and that is where young minds should be mentored. And Dr. Vishal, you're doing a very good thing by mentoring them in the right direction.
So Sayantani, in today's scenario, rather than I can say in last 2 or 3 years, we have been talking about AI, and so on. Okay, so in today's era where AI tools and digital platforms handles your resume screening, performance tracking, and policy answering, what is one essential human quality in a leader that technology will never be able to automate or replace?
While there are so many, if I talk about, I'll go on and on. It's critical thinking, it's empathy, it's trust, because all of these can't be replicated. AI cannot replace human emotions. AI cannot replace the connect we have. AI cannot replace the human intention, the passion, while it can enhance it. So basically, machines are not there to replace anyone. Machines are there to empower people. And that is what we need to understand. AI is there to empower you. It can enhance your skills, probably automate a lot of things that you have been doing manually, and in a way that would increase your productivity. So it is more of a perspective change that we have to take a look at, and how we can ensure that our human abilities are more prominent, and we are not just putting in a lot of non value added task into our daily schedule, but we are putting in a lot of human connect into it.
So Sayantani, before we wrap up, we have one traditional rapid fire round. So what I'm going to do is to throw you a quick prompts, okay, on your way, and just give me the first response that comes into your mind. No more thinking.
That's
Okay. So engineering equations or HR strategy, which is the harder to solve?
both are extremely difficult, but I would say strategy.
The first trait of an executive board director.
Number one trait is having the foresight, the depth.
One word to describe the renewable energy sector today.
Transformative.
The biggest mistake companies makes with total rewards.
It's ignoring transparency and communication to maintain
Remote
equity.
remote work, hybrid or 100% in office or building true enterprise resilience.
It's always hybrid. It's very important to have the human connect as well as get some time for oneself.
Your absolute biggest professional pet peeve.
Well, it would be processes that don't add value but add complexity.
What drives high performance more? Strict compliance or creative freedom?
It would be creative compliance. Well, I'll go with creative freedom if it's not an option.
What is tougher, hiring the right talent or letting go the wrong talent?
Letting go is always very difficult. It's been very difficult for me.
What is tough? The best piece of career advice you have ever received.
Follow your heart. Your instincts will take you where you belong.
A thinker, a dreamer, or a doer? Which one describes your leadership style the best?
Well, a doer always.
So, Sayantani, this was a great conversation. We talked about different aspects. Okay, I also include my some of my journeys examples also there. Okay, but it was more of knowing you. Okay, so to close our episode today, we usually ask all our guests our signature questions. So, what according to you is the inspiring minds?
Well, a very impactful question, and I really love the way inspiring minds have been built. With so much passion, I can see that it's driven by a lot of empathy, and it has a very balanced vision as well. It's not just about solving problems or driving profits. It's about inspiring people in believing that they can do bigger things. And we have talked about it. It is about possibilities that come in the way. And what inspiring mind is impactful for is that it creates a legacy. Most importantly, that is where the inspiring mind impacts a larger crowd by creating a legacy that stays on for years to come. Thank you so much, and I'm extremely privileged to be here.
So, what a powerful note to end on, Sayantani. Thank you so much for joining us for the Inspiring Minds conversation and sharing our journey with us today. To everyone watching and listening, thank you for spending your time with us. If today's episode gave you new perspective on leadership, governance, and on clean energy cultures, make sure you hit a like button, drop your favorite takeaways in the comments, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep doing, and keep inspiring. Take care, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thank you.